being back in the mix, I know like Hollywood took a pause and now there are all these protocols for how things get done. And I'm not sure, with Sacrifice, how you've navigated that. Talk a little bit about some of the obstacles you had to overcome to get this done.
Gosh, yeah, we made it during the pandemic. And I think, you just adapt because everybody's so anxious to get back to work. We'll figure it out. If it takes a little longer, you got to take tests, what have you. Everybody, you just feel so grateful for what you do have when something like this happens. We were just all happy to be at work. We're like, we'll do whatever it takes. Thank you, Lord.
So it follows a lawyer.
Yes.
Daniela Hernandez. You're playing Daniela Hernandez, high-powered attorney, navigating the lives of her clients. You dress well. You come in. I've seen a couple episodes. I'm just going to tell you. And what are we going to find with you this year as you are going through your own personal struggles with substance abuse?
Yes. Well, when we meet Daniela, she's at a crossroads in her life. She's had alcohol addiction and now she's sober. And now that's what's coming, is that in her sobriety, when she was drinking, she could do anything. She could deceive anyone, manipulate anything. She was willing to turn a blind eye to many things, including her own past. But now in this sobriety, she is looking at her life with these new eyes and asking herself, am I willing to sacrifice my soul to be a part of this game? And so what you find is you have two women. You've got this woman who is fierce and ferocious and a boss. But then there's this other person that only the audience gets to see, not the people in Daniela's world. And she is this young, scared little girl that didn't get the love she needed, that's trying to work out these terrible patterns she's had in her life and sort out the mystery of her parents' death.
So last time you were on, we were talking about another substance, and you weren't like kind of prophetic because people weren't really. I wasn't, let me just say, not people. I wasn't totally on board with the whole, it should be legalized, but I don't think people should be taking it. And you were talking about how it helped your mom, and where I'm talking about a substance that's near and dear to Cena's heart as well, cannabis. And do you think that we're going to have a legalization federally of this?
I can't say. What's interesting, Karen. I stopped smoking weed 3 years ago because I needed to. I know I tripped here. You didn't expect me to say that.
No, because
I stopped drinking.
That wasn't on the rundown.
Well. What'd you say?
That wasn't on the rundown
today. Sorry, but that doesn't mean I don't think it should be legalized. It just means for my own personal life, I needed to be able to be comfortable with the present moment as it was, to deal with the pains in my life and stop trying to hide from it. I had to be uncomfortable for a little bit in my own life so I could grow, and so not meant.
I love that, Paula Patton, because I was like, I was sitting there. I remember sitting across from you, and I was like, everybody gonna go out now and start smoking weed because Paula Patton like it's good. Then now 3 years later, you're like, stay off the weed. I'm like, yes.
Listen, I'm not in a place to judge people or tell people how to behave. I can only speak for my own personal journey. And for me, that was really important for me, was to become sober. Was a part of me. I had so much pain and things I was dealing with that, and I was just coping in that way instead of looking at it and just living in the moment and understanding that exists. Deal with it, be uncomfortable. And then when that happened, I started to feel this kind of joy on the other side of life. I never thought I'd have in my life, when I worked through all that pain and was like, it's okay. Wherever I'm supposed to be is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I don't need to change that. So, yeah.
We talk a lot, especially on Wednesdays, about mental health, and this pandemic has, I teach, and a lot of my students are like, I don't know how to reconnect with people. I'm not sure how to get back out, go to a job again. And we have these conversations, like I leave space for that because our young people need to talk. I know you have a son, and I'm wondering, like, what's that process? And is there somebody that you talk to? Like, is there a professional, because I'm a big advocate for us, particularly people of color, to go sit down and talk to somebody professional.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. I mean, I I have different people, because for me it's spiritual, and there's also, of course, there's counselors and therapists, and there's also a spiritual element. For me, it was more spiritual than anything, but I definitely saw therapists as well. And it's just been a different, I don't know, the healing process for me was varied, as that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It came on different in all kinds of ways for me. But something happened in my life that just made me realize enough was enough, you know? And with that, I think the one thing I would say that I didn't realize, I didn't understand, when someone was like, feel your feelings, I was like, what are you talking about? That sounds like the worst idea I have ever heard. I don't want to feel any of this. What do you mean? And that's why I was, and so now when I was like, okay, no, it's okay to feel that. I guess the thing is to say, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to be angry or upset. And then the faith that that's going to end at some point, you know what I mean? That feeling comes in and it feels like it's going to last forever, but it's not. It doesn't last as long as you think it is. And if you can just endure, then what's on the other side is just, I don't know. I can only speak to just, joy is not the right word, but it's like, okay, I got through that. So there's a strength in you now, right? That's gotten you to a different place because you endured that. And then when that happens, you start to build this muscle, you keep building that muscle. And then the joy comes,
What I think is great about what you're talking about, Paula, is something I call like the reality check that I do for my own self and my own life. You people have their sober Septembers or whatever they do and stuff like that. But I think what I'm hearing more is like you really listened to yourself and you found out what you needed. And I think a lot of times people don't do that work, right? You can have a drink, you could have a smoke, you could do whatever it is you need to do in your life. But if you're not listening to yourself, none of it's going to matter. You could be a sober person and also not listen to yourself. There's people that I know that are sober that are insane. The craziest people I know. Some of them run, a show every day on Sirius XM. And
wait a minute. Hey. Knock it off.
But I think the point is well made, but I really applaud you for kind of like taking, because that is really difficult work. And just to, have a little bit of fun, I'm wondering if when you did stop smoking, did you have some really weird dreams? Because that is a common thing to have happen to people.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I mean, I think really weird dreams. Definitely just the whole process brings up a lot of memories and a lot of things. And there's a horrible dream. You're just waking up like, oh God, I forgot about that. God dang. Oh, but
like 4 years ago at that party.
It's just all about forgiveness. Forgive yourself. It's all good. You did the best you could. What I knew then, I did the best I knew at the time. And now I know better. For me.
That's great.
So what is Daniela doing though this season to get through? See, I'm gonna bring it on back. What is she doing? How is she coping?
Well, that's it. The question is, we're gonna see through the series how she is coping. At the beginning, she's dealing with this, but you'll see there's this other side. There's this other kind of personality in Daniela that comes up that I don't want to give too much away, but it really deals with the pain of the loss of her mother. And you'll see there's this other side of Daniela where she tries to find it's her coping mechanism. But as the series goes, you'll see she wobbles, but she doesn't fall down, and that's what's interesting about her journey right now. And at the same time, I think also she still though is getting high on power and she has some love interests that give her some other endorphin rushes.
Wait, let me Google
so she's
let me see, because BET good for having the most handsome hold on, let me go. Sacrifice, love interests. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they have.
I can tell you his name.
Okay. Come on, Paula Patton. Let's look up your love interest.
Okay.
What's his name?
Well, Juan Antonio. We have a sick sort of passionate chemistry. He's good for me. He's bad for me. It's I want him. I don't want him. You'll see.
I see him. I've seen him. Yo, okay. So is it heated? I'm imagining it's much. Is a lot of heat going on there.
It's illicit and heated.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this.